Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, baby. 1 million black men in the building. Thank you guys for being here. Everyone's set up, set up. Hey, we about to get into black opportunity tonight. I've actually kept a little bushy tonight. Let the grays come out, hanging out and everything. So happy everyone's here tonight. We're going to be getting into some real cool stuff tonight. First off, as we always start off in this time, let's talk about real quick. I just want to know from the building, man, we're looking at 3-0. We got 3-0 for the Western and the Eastern Conference Finals. We 2-0, well, sorry, 3-0. I don't know what to say. I got to be straight with you. I don't know what to say, right? I don't know what to say. Good. Welcome to the building, Nathaniel. All the others, welcome. Honestly, I got to tell you, I don't know what to say. It's one of those things where I kind of feel a little bit like, yo. So, I need to know in the chat. Let me know real quickly. Welcome to the 1 million black men. We get into black opportunity tonight. Again, tonight, let your people know, your friends know, whoever know. We get into black opportunity tonight. Black opportunity. We're going to go to some black opportunity tonight. It's going to be real, concise, straight. Hopefully, I'm going to expand some of y'all minds about everything. Chucky said, go Nuggets. Denver up 3-0 in the Lakers. It's crazy. I got to be honest with you. I thought, personally, it was going to be a Lakers, Celtics like kind of thing because that's one of the biggest rivalries of all time in the NBA. But, man, Nuggets, Heat. It's 3-0. No one's ever come back from 3-0. So welcome in the building, everybody. Welcome to the building. We're going to get started. We're going to let's go. We're going to get going in about a couple minutes here. Thanks for showing up. Again, welcome to the building, everybody. Thank you for showing up. We're going to get into black opportunity tonight. But with that, I got to go in on y'all. Can the Lakers or Boston come back? That's what I need to know. I need to know before we talk about black opportunity tonight. We went through black tax. We went through black identity. Now we're going to go through black opportunity, right? Black power, baby. I need to know from everybody in the building tonight. Can Boston come back down 3-0? Put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. I know it may be a couple of times, but we're just getting started here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Everyone's coming through. We're talking about black opportunity tonight. Lauren said no. He said no is not possible. Kwame said black love. Hey, I'm just curious. Someone said, I hope the Lakers get swept. Man, y'all just like, y'all ruthless in this joint. Y'all don't want Bron to win another ring? Y'all don't want Bron to win another ring? Thank you again, guys. I know as folks are coming in the building, please like, share. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, please follow us or subscribe to the YouTube page. I know we get a lot of new people coming in, so please YouTube or subscribe to the YouTube page. Please do that for us. Very important. But who else we got? Lakers are done. Someone else is saying only the king knows. Man, I'm just so excited you guys are here tonight. We go talk about black opportunity. I gotta be okay. Let me just be straight with y'all. Let me give you a complete 100 real quick. Let me be completely 100 with everybody in the building, just so we're clear and just so everybody understands. Let me be completely 100 with y'all real quick. Okay, ready for this? I care about the NBA. I care about the NBA is mostly black players. You got a very diverse array of players, but mostly black players. I feel like black players built the NBA. I don't know if y'all feel the same way. If you feel like black men, particularly black men, built the NBA, I need you to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like I feel that black men built the NBA, okay? Right? Put a 1 in the chat if you're feeling me on that, okay? But I have to say this as we talk about black opportunity tonight, right? As we talk about black opportunity tonight, I got to say this to you. And what I got to say to you is this, is that I am really excited about the opportunity. I'm really excited that anybody that is in the space of of seeing our people do well, our people succeed, like gladiators, right? Become amazing at what they do. I'm super excited about it. But let me just say this to you, okay? I will be more excited. And although we've made some strides, I will be more excited. I will be more lifted up. I will be more enthusiastic. And I'm just going to be straight 100 with you, okay? When the representation, right? When the representation of the NBA matches the ownership in the NBA. And I'm just going to be straight with y'all. I'm talking to you 100. This is our group. We get to say what we want to say. This is our private session. But I'm going to be more excited. Look, I want whoever, Jimmy, the winning ring, and this person to win a ring, all of that. Hold. I want you to know, okay? I want you to know, okay? But I'm going to be more excited when the representation, right, of the ownership represents, right, the actual labor as well. And I can't stress enough in this evolution that we're going through in the world, the fact that, I tell people all the time, could you imagine, right, hockey? Could you imagine hockey, which is mostly a white male-dominated sport? Could you imagine if 90% of all the hockey teams, black men own them, right? You can't, some of you guys can't even picture that, right? You can't even picture that type of thing, okay? But I will be happy. I am excited. Listen to me. I am excited about, right, these brothers who are about to go excel, world championship, all that kind of stuff. I'm excited that they got $1 million contracts. I'm excited that they worked so hard, and I'm excited about all of that, okay? But what I am disappointed in is that, Mike, Magic, Patrick Ewing, Kobe, go down the list of men who built the brand of the NBA, built the NBA, and yet we are lacking representation in ownership. And so tonight we're talking about opportunity, and mainly we're talking about ownership, right? Just to catch everyone up, we talked about the black tax. What was the black tax? The black tax is a reality that exists within our communities globally, of the fact that what is the net worth, what is the capital that is in our communities that we can actually extract and trade, okay? Right, given the population of our communities. Right. Then we talked about black identity. Black identity was very important because the black identity piece was the part of this that we could not ignore. Because in black identity, we talked about what our true history was, right? What our true history is. And what our true history is the fact that not only were we kings and queens and the lands and all that kind of stuff, but many of the technologies and things that were developed and what we consider modernization, what we consider industrialization, was actually African. It was actually African, okay? It actually came from kingdoms of Kush. It actually came from Egypt. It actually came from kingdoms of Niger, kingdoms of Sudan, kingdoms of the Zulus in South Africa. It actually came, many of those knowledges came from Africa, right? And was stolen or borrowed or licensed, however you want to say it, right? And created into the last couple hundred years. And in identity, we were reminded as black people, as black men, who we actually are. And although we get, we get disappointed, although we have challenges, although we know how the system is built in many ways, we were able to go through the history and see, hey, the history, okay, does not totally represent the story, right? Because we understood that colonizing, imperialism, whatever you want to call it, they rewrote the history, okay? And we don't have to get mad about it no more. We don't have to get upset about it. All we got to do is be about it moving forward and what we're going to do with our community and what we do have in order to multiply it. So today we're going to talk about the Black opportunity, okay? The Black opportunity and what that exists. And again, this is going to go from practical to framework and what that essentially means, okay? What that essentially means. I'm going to, my team is right now working on a couple things. I know you guys are coming in. Hey, everyone coming in, love you. Come on in, guys. Hey, real quickly, I know that you guys are going through. Charles West said it's not the ownership of the NBA team, it's the ownership of the networks that's most important. Man, I love that. I love that mindset. You're right, actually, right? Only the networks that, hopefully one day we get to cut the deals with TNT, ABC, and stuff like that, where can you imagine, I'm just whatever Black-owned networks, the podcast, whatever the case is, them actually hosting an NBA playoff, right? Own or whatever the case is. So I like that you said that. Yes, it actually is also part of owning the network as well as owning the team. I appreciate that, brothers. I appreciate that. So look, we're going to get right in real quick. I want my team have uploaded some charts for me because I want to go into some things. This lesson is going to be very much Africa and the diaspora talking about opportunity and talking about this. And this is going to be a very important lesson and an important group for us because we're going to be talking about the opportunity, but also Africa and also the West. So, Lacey, if you could real quick, as we get into it, send out another if we send out another email, if we can, somebody send out an email. Just remind everyone that we're live. If you can, brothers, please at this time share. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, bring another brother in the room. Please bring another brother in the room. Thank you, Charlie, Willie, Marcos, everybody who's here. Will, love you being here. Moses, thank you, sir. Alvin, man, Terrence, always in the building. Christopher, always in the building. Chucky, Kwame, thank you, brother, for being in the building. Please get the other brothers in the building, guys. We're about to get real serious real quickly here. And the first thing I want to do, if you all can bring up the map of Africa. Bring up the map of Africa. We're going to bring that up for us real quick. Okay? All right? So, some of you guys have seen this. Some of you have not. For those, I'm just curious, how many of you have not, just real quick, if you have not seen this map of Africa with all the countries in it, real quickly, just put a 2 in the chat. If this is your first time seeing this map, please, real quickly, put a 2 in the chat, okay? Right? We're going to break some things down. This is not to embarrass or anything like that. This is about education, but also liberation for all of us as we learn together and grow together. But I just want to know who have not seen this. Okay, thank you. So this is helpful. A lot of brothers have not seen this. Okay, 2. Thank you so much, Barry, Lawrence, Chucky. Okay, fantastic. All right. So as some of you might or might not know, I want to say it was 12 or 1400. The explorers at the time that were out of Europe, when they portrayed Africa, if you look at Africa on a normal map, right, they usually just show it in contrast to like Europe and other countries. It's pretty much about the same, okay? But I want you to be knowledgeable and understand, when I talk about this opportunity tonight, a lot of you all are going to kind of get creative and think about things you never thought about before. You're going to think about stuff you never thought about before. About the real land mass, how large the continent is. And this, again, I'm speaking to the diaspora when I talk like this because the diaspora needs to understand not only where you're from, but also the opportunity of where you're from and what's happening. And for my brothers inside the continent right now, inside the continent, I need you all to understand inside the continent what the opportunity is inside your own lands. There are brothers that are inside the motherland that does not fully understand what the opportunity is, okay? So, as you can see, the continent of Africa can hold pretty much the most of the continent of Europe, the United States, Japan, all of China. Hold on, listen to me. All of China and all of India, okay? And a few other places in and around there, okay? Right? Okay? This is how large the continent is. To go from east to west on the continent is roughly about 8 hours, give or take, if you're flying, right? Okay. You know, uh 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 and if you're going from north to south, right? North to south, it takes about 10 to 12 hours. So that's just how long and how wide the continent is. So if you were going from Ghana to like Ethiopia, or you were going from Tunisia, right, to going down all the way to South Africa, you're looking at a 10-hour plus trip in many respects and how to move. Okay, right? The reason why I want to show you this is so you have a different picture of really how big the continent is as a land mass, as a massive land. This is how big it is. This is part of the reason why the continent will pretty much be the feeding basket, the bread basket that will feed kind of the rest of the world as the population now is 7+ billion. What has now happened, even Gabon, the country of Gabon, now some of the under-industrialization, the underdevelopment now that has existed on the continent, right? Many of the developed countries are now asking, okay, um, um, are now asking African countries, can you please keep your vegetation? Can you please keep the trees and the jungles and all of that stuff? Can you please do that? They're asking for that, guys, because of global warming and climate change, all this stuff, Africa now has enough trees and wildlife to take in all of the garbage, okay? All of the garbage of the rest of the world, right? So taking in all the CO2 and everything else, a lot of this stuff now is being dependent upon Africa, okay? So anybody have, just real quick, as you guys saw that, I know this was, some of you guys, again, you've never seen this before, so it's pretty flipped upside down, right, for the most part. As we went through, now you can probably see why it is that as you looked across the world, when we talked about identity, if you notice, many of the places where they say they found a new world, there were already brown and black people there, okay? Whether it was America, whether it was Papua New Guinea, whether it was New Zealand, Australia, when they traveled around the world and created, quote unquote, found a new world, there were already black and brown people there. We obviously know there was a land called Pangea, they called it, right? It was all connected at one point. But to give you an understanding of the continent of Africa, you can fit all of these countries into this one space. All right, now let's go to the next slide if I can, team. We're going to go in through how the U.S. and China are viewed from the African perspective and what's happening as far as favorability. This stat's a little bit old, but, right, how is China and the U.S. rated, right, in sub-Saharan Africa? And this is important, especially for those who are in the diaspora. This is very, very important to understand, right? So in Kenya, some of the highest ratings, right, as you see, Ghana, Tanzania, Senegal, Nigeria, South Africa, and Uganda, okay? So I'm setting this precedent right now for everyone who's here, right? This is important as we talk about opportunity, okay? Because I want you to understand, like, what's the view? So if you are American and you are coming to do business in Ghana, coming to do business in Kenya and Tanzania, in Uganda and Nigeria, right? There's a high favorability with our brothers, right? And you coming to do business, right? Because of the views of how they view the space. Now, obviously in China, is right up there. Okay, and China is right up there, which is why tonight I'm really keying in on a lot of manufacturing, because I want you to know that if we don't find ways to partner with our brothers and start to manufacture on the continent things or import products from the continent, that China is going to lick their lips. And this is, it's okay. They're looking for their own opportunity. They're going to lick their lips, and they're going to take the opportunities. And then we're going to sit back and scream and holler and be upset. And we're going to say, oh my gosh, right? This is cultural appropriation. No, it's not. It's called cultural opportunity. Okay. And so I want you to understand the favorability, particularly of those that are in the West, right? That we have right now, particularly on the continent, and looking at it from a global perspective. So I want you to understand that, right? That piece. Okay. We are currently working on showing a video. There's a video that I'm in, and I want to queue up, if it's feasible, that where I'm actually in Uganda, and I'm talking about some of the opportunities on the continent, right, that exist, that is there. And again, the reason why I call this Black opportunity is because, as I said before, right, industrialization moves around. Okay, right? It started, obviously, as we know, it started in Europe, factories, everything else. Then, it went to America. Then from America, it went to where? Asia, right? And now from Asia, it's now moving into Africa. Let's go ahead and show that video. I'm going to show a quick video, guys. Please tune in, and we're going to get right into some practical steps of opportunity. Go ahead.
Small and medium businesses in Uganda have experienced the largest effects of the risk associated with COVID-19 compared to large-scale businesses. However, according to David Anderson, the survival of many businesses, both abroad and home, majorly depends on their ability to work without depending on physical interaction with customers.
Made more money during COVID-19 than they ever made ever, or they declined in ways they never ever. And so the biggest difference was that had you adopted in an internet era and how your business operated? Could people get in contact with you without physically touching you, right? Could you do events, right, virtually, right? Events was usually, but could you do an event virtually? Could your workers, right, get their job done virtually? If the answer to that was yes, you made more money because more people were operating by virtual means.
In 2015 through to 2018, Uganda ranked first in the world for having the most entrepreneurs per capita, but it also registered the biggest number of business failures, unable to make it through the first year. David advises thus.
The export markets, this is some of the most fertile land in the world. So exports of goods. Also, another big thing is obviously tourism here. Tourism is going to continue to grow as more and more people learn about the landscape, the wildlife globally. Another sector we're taking a hard look at is real estate. We've already made some investments in real estate. It is part of business. The thing is that does that person stop, right? And so, yeah, startups fail, and people think, well, if I had more money, and money does help, then I wouldn't have failed. I'm not going to say that's true, because without the experiences of failing, right? The first time I built a real estate company and enterprise, I got up to, I was 19, 20. I had a multi-million-dollar real estate company, and I lost it all.
Asked where he thinks Uganda's investment opportunities lie, David was quick to speak about the opportunities presented by the 1,445-kilometer East African crude oil pipeline project that runs via Tanzania to Tanga.
I love the pipeline. I love it. But I think that the pipeline is happening because of what's already here in Uganda. Right? So the pipeline makes sense because of the East African corridor, but the export markets are still a great opportunity, right? Import and export. The real estate is still a great opportunity. The pipeline is, I think, an amazing addition, and it's going to create thousands and thousands of jobs. And the pipeline, I think, is it's almost like the cherry on top.
He finally advises startup business owners to seek mentorship and learn from the mistakes of those holding experience in their respective sectors.
Entrepreneurs have to be encouraged, right? I know people hear of the great grand stories of, oh, this person made, but I'm going to tell you something, though. I have yet to meet a very successful entrepreneur that you may hear about the big splash. We hear about the overnight success, but we don't hear about all of the struggle. And they try to explain it to you, but it's so hard. Building business, or for a Ugandan entrepreneur, here's the thing. Keep going. Keep trying to figure it out. You may have to find ways to put food on the table as you do this, but do not give up on your dream. I got to tell you, do not give up.
All right. So that was me. That was me. I was shaved. I was a little bit, a little cleaner, but I hope you guys took some nuances from that. That was a clip about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago during COVID, but the opportunities still stay the same. So I'm going to go really quick into these opportunities. I'm going to put them up on the board real quick. So we're going to put the opportunities up. Then I'm going to break some of it down. Now, some of this stuff is going to be applicable in different ways, right? Some of this stuff is going to be stuff that you're going to go, man, bro, I don't even know where to start. That's okay. It's okay if you don't know where to start because, right, it's that the information to expand your thinking, right? To expand your thinking is paramount first, and then you can get into practical. I got to be straight with everybody here. Let me just be straight and completely 100 with you. And I want to say this in a way that doesn't never give up is a start. That's right, Moses. Never give up is a start. But I want to say this is a thing, right? I don't know of any shortcuts that I've ever seen in this game of winning in life, nor winning in business. Do I know that people cheat? Yes. Do I know that? But I expect that. Do I know that you might just happen to have a friend or somebody who grew up with? Yes, I understand that. But I don't know anybody in this game where they found some secret shortcut or a secret connection that just somehow just put them on. And I got to tell you, I got to go back. I don't want to get preachy on you guys, but I got to go back to a proverb in the Torah that I really, really love. The Bible, the Torah, however you want to, I even think it's in the Quran as well. But it says that fast money dwindles, but he who gathers it little by little makes it grow. And the reason why I think that exists is because there's something powerful to the fact that when you have to build up your money and your wealth, right, step by step, day by day, right, when you have to build it up and you build it up, you build it up and you build it up, you know what happens, right? You get smarter, you get stronger, right? Because it didn't just happen all of a sudden, right? You had to make the struggle, figure it out. Make the struggle, figure it out. For the brothers that are out there today, or you're listening today, and you feel like, man, I'm struggling, I'm trying to make ends meet, or I'm trying to put the pieces together, I want you to know fast money dwindles, but he who can get it little by little, step by step, right, he makes it grow, right? And there's a different appreciation when you have that capital or that money in your hand, all right? So let's go, all right? Where are the opportunities? Now, again, I'm talking about Black opportunity, African, as well as the African diaspora, and where to go. So where are the opportunities? Here it is. The first space is land, okay? The first space is land. Why is this land, okay? Right now, we have a population growth. You can look at the stats yourself. I don't want to go through this. Population growth worldwide is freaking through the roof, okay? Right? Population growth. Now, in some countries, okay, we have some declines in some European places, but here it is. They're just not making more land. It's not happening. Even if we go into a virtual world, there's only going to be so much land. Now, what am I saying about land? Okay. What I'm saying about on the continent as well as in our cities, which most of the places where Black folks reside are in part of the cities. Now, for you all who are 50, 60 years old, you've already seen this, so please let a young brother know almost every hood that you grew up with. Now, brothers, if you on this chat and you over 50, I need you to rock with me after I say this. But for most of the brothers over 50 on this chat, for every hood that you knew that was the hood when you grew up, most of those hoods are now gentrified and have $1 million condos. If I'm telling the truth, I need you to put a 100 in the chat. Put a 100 in the chat. Put a 100 in the chat. If you're on this thing and you're over 50 or close to 50 or over 50, and you experienced and saw where the areas in the city or the area that was considered the hood, all of a sudden now, those same hood projects are now, for some reason, right? There's $1 million condos or $500,000 condos. All right, so there we go. All right, enough said. So, brothers, if you haven't seen it before, listen to me. If you haven't seen it, because you're not old enough to have seen that much, I want you just to trust the brothers who've already seen it. Just trust them. We got tens of hundreds coming through the chat right now, okay? And just trust that, look, land. Now, what am I saying about land? We need to pick up land in our hoods. I'm talking about Black opportunity. Pick up land in our places. If you are in the motherland, right? Or if you travel to the motherland, you need to pick up land in their hoods or on the farms, the agricultural land. I'm going to tell you why. Because that land over time is going to become more valuable as the continent becomes a place for vegetation. I'm telling you, the most richest soil, right? I was for just an example, I was in Uganda and cannabis right now in the US, even in California and Oregon, some of the best places to grow cannabis, they get about 2 crops a year, 2.5 crops a year, 3 if you're lucky. If you're doing indoor, a little bit different, right? In Uganda, this is a true story. In Uganda, these guys are not even tilling the land. They're just throwing the seed. They're throwing the seed on the ground, okay? They get 4 to 5 grow a year, 4 to 5 grows because of the fertileness of the land and its position on the equator, right? Africa has more equator land than anywhere else in the world, right? As far as just equator population and equator land. So I want to encourage you guys, land is one of the biggest Black opportunities. So the areas that they talk about, that's the hood. I need you young brothers, especially, I need you to buy some land. I need you to get some property. I don't care if it's just the land. I don't care if it's the property, whatever the case is. And I need you to get it and just hold it. While they telling you this a bad neighborhood, while they telling you that, this ain't worth nothing. And I need you just to sit on that for 20, 30 years, okay? Because it's undervalued now until some baristas and some yuppies show up, and then all of a sudden it's going to be worth, millions of dollars. Somebody say amen to that, okay? Ashallah, okay? Ashallah. So land, okay? In our areas, right, land. So I'm just going to get your mind open to that, period, okay? Done. All right, the next one I want to get to, and I got to get to some other things real quickly here, is number 2, okay? Natural resources. Okay, natural resources. Now, for some of you, right, you may have never thought about this space in this way. You've never even considered it. But I want you to understand this is the part I think is crazy. You ready for this? So they're talking about this grain. Okay, all this green stuff, right? But really, what I've seen over time, we just like reinvent the same stuff over again. Literally, it's just like a reinvention. We reinvent the same stuff all over again, right? So it's like oil, oh, now oil's bad, carbon is bad, we got to go green, let's go electric. Well, with electric, guess what's in electric? We got cobalt. Guess what cobalt comes from? Africa. Oh, we got lithium. Guess what lithium is? Africa. We got all the components that you deal with this new green economy. Many of those components and resources and minerals, copper. I mean, look, you name it. Okay, a lot of this stuff is coming out of the motherland, out of Africa. So, in the natural resource space, you say, "Well, David, how do we get in? How do you do that?" Right? I'll give you an example. Right now, there's the East African pipeline, the crude line going in. I'm helping working on some of those projects over there in the motherland. And so what I want to let you know is that if you're over there or if you want to get over there, right, you have to start to think about it, because if you're not aware of it, you're not even thinking about it. Okay, you're not even thinking about it. But the natural resource play is going to be a big, big play in the future. Okay, Africa as a continent is a lot smarter with its natural resources. They're cutting better deals with some of these major corporations. But I want you to know that this is going to be another major play. All right, that brings me to the number 3. Okay. Export, import. Okay. Export, import. Let me get to this real quickly here. You ready for this? There are products that are literally in what I call, and if I'm talking to a lot of brothers who are on the continent right now, I want you to know, right? There are products that are on the continent that are natural. Now, mind you, in many cases, we were called, uncivilized and heathens and barbarians, right? Because we didn't like to wear shoes. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, not wearing shoes, it actually helps your body and your feet get, all that kind of stuff, right? All this stuff. Or, we didn't take medicine, all this stuff, right? But now all of a sudden, our natural remedies and the way in which we operated as a people, as Africans, right? Now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wow, wait, this stuff is better than pharmaceuticals. Well, no stuff, Sherlock, right? So finding opportunities to export right from the motherland and import into your land, whether that is Jamaica, whether that is America, Canada, Britain, Brazil, finding ways to, again, export from the motherland and import. I like this play because this is one of the plays where we get to create African jobs and opportunity, as well as sell to these more developed countries, right, and create capital, right? So you're selling things from the motherland, right, into these other developed countries where we exist, where we are, and selling it not just to our people, but selling it to the public. So for instance, I got something coming for y'all real soon. So I can't talk about it too much, but I got this product, and I'm coming to a theater near you. Y'all, 1 Million Black Men will probably be the first to be able to touch it. Some of you guys may know about it, some of y'all don't. There was a village that I got to know in East Africa. Well, this time when I first went there, and basically, like the joke is that there's these guys in these certain villages, and they grow up on this certain thing they kind of eat growing up. And because it's so much of a what they call a sexual stimulant, right? It's like a natural, imagine it is as a natural Viagra or a Cialis, but imagine you grow up like eating it. And so the joke is like, yo, you don't hire these guys to be a driver for you, a security or whatever, because like if they get to your girl, it's over, right? It's over. They get to your girl, right? And so man, I had to find. I'm like, what is this? Where is this coming from? Like, what is it, right? But long story short, it's been in those villages for years, centuries. It's actually something they even teach. They even teach it in like the home management courses and home ec and stuff like that. So it's very known in those populations as like a natural stimulant, right? For men, right? And their, their sexual stimulation. So anyway, long story short, like I started looking at this and I finally got to some of the sources. I said, man, we're about to export this. This is amazing, right? Why? Because it's not just for us, but think about all the brothers. Think about all the brothers. What happened was I had a friend go with me And a friend's father, he's like in his 60s. A friend's father of mine was in his 60s, and he got some of this, and he chewed on it. He's a widower. His wife passed away of cancer some time ago, and he was chewing on it, whatever. And he came in, he said, "Man," he said, "I feel like I'm 22. I don't know what to do." He was just like so excited. It was just like everything was going. But the point I'm making, I'm just talking about that one thing, guys. But the point I'm making is that that's just one of many products, one of many things that exist on the continent and the motherland that at some point somebody's going to export it. They're going to package it so that the Canadians or the Britain or the Americans or the Brazilians are going to consume it. You understand what I'm saying? Right? All of these things that we hear about that come about, whether it's Ganoderma, what's this new thing? What's the thing now everyone's taking to go to sleep? The melatonin, whatever this stuff is. A lot of this stuff are natural remedies that have been used in our lands for centuries, right? And now somebody's packaging it up in order to sell it, right? And sell it to us, repackage it at high margin. Look, if you're following me, and I see folks are in the building now, put a 1 in the chat. If you like, yo, this is good stuff, put a 1 in the chat because I want to get us thinking. So land, natural resources, and export and import, finding products and things in order for us to export and import, right? Number 4. Okay. Labor. Number 4 is labor. Okay. Number 4 is labor, right? Number 4 is labor. What's number 4? Number 4 is labor because a lot of this labor, as we know, has been going to parts of Asia in recent days, even some of the stuff. But with the labor, I want to talk about something called business process outsourcing. All right, look that word up, business process outsourcing, right? BPO, okay? What that is that finding areas in your business, okay, where you can export. Now, some of these areas have, India has gotten really good, right? The call centers are there. You got a lot of areas that gotten really good at this, but we can export a lot of these things, this labor piece, to the continent. Again, it creates jobs on the continent, right? As well as opportunity for us, right? As we work with our own people on things, right? Even many things that we're doing, and with 1 Million Black Men, we use folks in Africa and other places. And so I want you to know that that's a big one, right? A big one. Business process outsourcing, labor, right? There'll be a big opportunity. Listen to me. Hey guys, welcome everyone new coming in. Welcome. We're talking about Black opportunity here: land, natural resources, export, import, and labor, business process outsourcing. Thanks for being with us. Please share, like, subscribe. I ask you guys to. We're giving out valuable information. We're making this happen because we Black men on a mission. Okay. All right. So here we go. Business process outsourcing. These are all the things. Some things that are virtual in your life you can bring over to the continent. Again, this is Black opportunity and bringing that on. I want to keep going because I don't want to miss anything. All right, and at the end of it, we'll talk more. Number 5. Okay, number 5. Stay with me. Tourism. I gotta tell you, I think it is sometimes crazy, right, for us, especially now. I was talking about my brothers in the motherland. Now I'm talking to us. Okay. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that, look, I'm just going to speak plain here. We have people from Canada, from Britain, from the US, all this stuff. Like when they do African travel, it's funny, right? Because African travel is like the Mecca. It's like the safari. It's like the Mecca. It's the what you call it, the bucket list trip, I mean, man, when they travel, I mean, you're talking about they spending $10,000, $15,000 a person. Because first you got to fly there, right? When you fly there, that's going to be at least $2, $3, $4 grand, right? Then you got to get there, you got to lodge, you got to travel, you got to have a driver, you got to have everything else, right? There's a lot of opportunity, right, in tourism and travel. And so what I want to encourage you, again, this is a space, we're talking about Black opportunity, right? I believe that we should own the travel and tourism firms that takes people from especially the Western or Eurocentric or even South American, all these countries, even China, okay, that are taking people to the motherland, okay? It makes sense. Like whether from online, you create websites, you do your own marketing, whatever the case is, the fact that, and I'm just going to call a spade, the fact that a lot of this luxurious travel, like I kid you not, I was on the border of Rwanda and Ghana. True story, right? I was on the border of Rwanda and Ghana, okay? Rwanda and Ghana. And it was a couple honeymooning. It was fun. They were from New York City. And they were telling us how, like, it took them a long time to plan their honeymoon because they were talking to these travel folks. And these folks were not Black, not African, nothing like that. But they wanted to charge them like $40,000, $50,000 for this honeymoon package so that they could go and visit the gorillas that were on the border of Rwanda and Uganda, right? And so they finally got to somebody on ground. They figured some stuff out, blah, blah, blah. Ended up costing them like $15,000 to $20,000. But I was sitting and I was going, wow, they were about to make a $20,000 profit off of helping this couple get to Africa, right? Because they had the packaging right, they had the presentation right, and all of that stuff. And what I am saying to you guys is that travel is a big, big opportunity. Hey, the team, if you could just put up that little barcode and everything like that, or the text number that people can connect with so they can connect with us on this. If you are hearing anything in this session or in this space and you want to dig deeper into it, you want to get more into it, some of the different opportunities and stuff like that, you're more than welcome to text, or we have a barcode to reach out. We have masterminds as well for Black men who are going into these spaces, thinking about things, working through things. So I want you to know, right, that it's a space that we are actively working in, right? We give away free information. We give people content. We give you bomb information. And then people say, hey, I want to act on that. Hey, I want to move on that. And I want to start to work on some of these things. Hey, I'm all for it. Welcome in, brothers. We want to welcome you with open arms. If you want to get accountable and work through some stuff, hey, fantastic. We can work through that. All right, let's keep going. All right, so tourism. Now, we also, this is going to be the last one we're going to talk about. It's manufacturing. All right, manufacturing, okay? Now, here we go. I want you to hear me out when I talk about this, right, guys? I want you guys to hear me out when I talk about this, okay? I want you to know real quickly, okay? When we talk about manufacturing, okay? When we talk about tourism, labor, export, import, and labor, okay? You can't do all of these things, okay? So you got to pick one or two that you want to investigate. Listen to me, that you have a desire to investigate, right? And then you go. Now, one thing that we're going to do, we're going to actually create some Black men travel, right? And some trips for us, folks that will want to go over to the motherland and investigate some things, right? And again, I'm going to tell you that if you're doing this, this is not one of those like, this is my last penny, this is my last dime. I'm going to go and try to find out. Hopefully I can find a gold mine somewhere that nobody knows. Guys, those days are over. Anybody that got a gold mine, they know it's worth something, okay? Don't fall for any gold scams, okay? Nobody has a gold mine in 2023 and don't know its value. Let me just be very clear with that. Nobody, I don't care what they say. Nobody owns a gold mine and don't know their value. Not in 2023, they don't, right? No one has a cobalt mine or anything like that. They know the value. They're just trying to rip you off and trying to figure out, your weaknesses. But for brothers who are serious about trying to really get into some of these spaces, right? I was talking to a brother of mine, and he was telling me how he was investing and doing some land stuff, real estate stuff down in South Africa. I was really excited about that. I mean, that's awesome, right? I know some brothers who are over west in Ghana doing something. I know some folks right now they're doing some shea butter and some import export with some shea butter stuff, right? I know people right now that are doing labor outsourcing, tech outsourcing to Ethiopia and Nigeria. I know folks who are in the tourism space, who are in the manufacturing space. Do you not know that companies, you'll be shocked, Kate Spade, the purse, the Kate Spade, they're manufacturing in Africa now. I can go down the list of people who are manufacturing all throughout the continent. They're doing it quietly, right? Because they get the opportunity, they get how low the regulations are, they understand how, kind of it's like a quiet secret right now, right? But I want to give you guys ahead of the curve. So if you have a product, or better yet, brothers, if you are in an industry where you make some type of product or whatever the case is, and you can get a hold to that machine, and you can get that machine over to the continent, and you can take the time to train people on that machine or on that thing, whatever the case is, and you can make it over in Africa and bring it back to America or Canada or whatever developed nation it is, right? Man, you will make a mint right now, right? Because there's just not a lot of people understanding and looking at the manufacturing, right? The capabilities on the continent. Now, some of the challenges it's going to be some of the shipping and rolls and stuff like that. But the challenges, listen to me, China had the same challenges. Malaysia had the same challenges. Vietnam had the same challenges. Over time, those challenges will become easier. They will become easier. So I want you to understand this. So everyone listening, please, I want you to hear me out. I'm going to say something very, very important. That's a mind shift, okay? A very mind shift. Don't allow the conditioning and the propaganda, okay, that has said that, oh, we don't do that or we can't do that, to take present when you think about these type of things. Don't allow that mind shift to happen, right? I was listening to something, and it's funny, in that song, God Did. God Did. With Jay-Z, Rick Ross, some of you guys know it, Lil Wayne, it won a Grammy last year. And there's this space in it where, Jay-Z says, hey, he says, man, I feel like I'm at a thing. I'm like Farrakhan talking to Mike Wallace. And some of you guys have seen, if you've heard that before, if you heard the 60-minute interview with Farrakhan and Mike Wallace, put a one in the chat. I'm just curious who's seen it before. But the minister said something very interesting, right? And they had a conversation, but I'm just going to paraphrase, but I'm going to say this to you guys, because this is in my word. I'm going to say it to you, right? And that is that when people talk about, right, when they talk about, Africa's unorganized, they say, it's this country's corrupt. They say, this is blah, 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 all this stuff, right? I want you to be reminded that even in those countries that we sit in, especially outside of the continent, right, that, many of the countries on the continent are the youngest in the world for their own national independence. Many of them didn't get their independence until about the time that many of us got our independence over in these Western countries, okay? So whether it was the 60s, the 70s, right, they didn't get their independence. So many of the African nations are young democracies, young republic, young independent nations. Before then, they were colonized, okay, right? Or a patriot. They were something to, right, the Belgian crown, the British crown, whatever the case was, right? And so it took the U.S., you forgot the U.S. was known as the Wild, Wild West all the way up to like really the early 1900s, right? They called it the Wild West, gentlemen, meaning that, hey, you used to have a bounty, meaning that I could kill you, bring you in. If I brought you in with your ID in your head, I would get paid to do so. How barbaric is that? Okay? So, no one has any clout to be a moral compass or moral judge that doesn't look like you, because what you've been through and what you have had to endure and what you've done and what they had to go through to develop. Let me just be straight and honest, and why I'm very clear on talking about Black opportunity, no matter who's listening. I'm okay talking about it. You know why? Because I know who developed who. I know that the land of Haiti, the first independent Black nation, made France rich to the point that they put France in debt, right? They created their own reparations because France became independent, right? A slave colony became independent, and so they put Haiti in debt, right? I know what African Americans did for America in its riches. I know what the Jamaicans did for Britain and sugarcane, right? And so because I've seen this and I understand this, I have no shame in talking about Black opportunity. It is time for us to take our own economics. I'm not asking that we take someone else's economics. I'm saying take our own economics, right? If we create, I think South Korea is a great example, right? Korea is a great example. Small nation, little resources, right? Whether it's Samsung, right? Or a myriad of companies, right? They took what they had, the little that they had, built whatever collaborations they could, and they exported it, right? How many of you guys got a Samsung product sitting somewhere in your house? Many of us do, okay? That is because the nation of Korea came together and they created a technology and they exported it. And there's a whole bunch of a myriad of other things that they've exported. But what I am saying is that as a diaspora of African people and Black people around the world, it is time for us to take back our land. I'm not asking for nobody else's land. I'm not coming to colonize nobody else. I ain't looking to nope. I'm saying the communities that we're in, let's get the land. The communities that we're in, let's get the natural resources. The communities that we're in, let's get the export and imports. The community that we're in, let's do business process outsourcing. Let's get the labor. The communities that we're in, let's get the tourism, and also let's get the manufacturing. That's what I'm asking for. That's what I'm saying, and I think that that's fair. I think that's a fair ask. I think it's a fair gesture. I think it's a fair empowerment for our people, finally, to only get we just want our stuff. Our stuff. Let's just take what's in our backyard. What I'm not asking to go to your yard. I don't want to go. No. I'm just saying in my backyard, there's some cobalt and some lithium and some gold and some stuff. I'm just going to get that and I'm going to export that. In my backyard, there's some land. I got y'all brothers are feeling me. There's some land in my backyard that I know in 20, 30 years, y'all going to come and try to gentrify this place. So let me just go ahead and get the land that's in my backyard and let me hold on to it, right? Because it's next to downtown. And y'all going to want to come back. The next generation going to be like, oh, man, downtown, it's cool. It's awesome. It's great. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just want to get your mind frame on what our opportunity is, okay? This is why I titled this one Black Opportunity. Okay? Because many people do not see the opportunity that is in their own backyard, fellas. It's in our own backyard. And if you're ready to move, if you're ready to knock it out, man, let's go. As I always say, let's go. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's create the change that we want to be. Let's create the environments we want to be in. Let's just do it ourselves, okay? So whether one of these 6 things, if you see yourself in that, if you go, man, I think I got a space in that, or I got a business, how do I get in that? Man, hit us up. And you can hit me up, scan the chat, or the David thing, the team got it on there. Y'all come through that. Do however you want to do it, man. However you want to do it. Some of you guys are already working in these spaces. Let me know. We'll follow up. We'll talk about what we can do accordingly, right? But I want to see us in these spaces, right? In the next year, I hope to have stories of the brother who got the tourism, the brother who's doing business process outsourcing, export, imports, the brothers who's doing, hey, I bought some land in the motherland and I bought some land in Chicago. I bought some land in Compton. over in Cleveland. You know, I mean, whatever the case is, I want to see us in these spaces because these are the spaces where we get to do wealth creation for 7 generations. 7 generations of wealth creation. Man, look, guys, as always, team, put the thing up there. I know the people are texting us. Appreciate the text. Don't want to hold you guys too long, but I wanted to go through this. Thank you guys for staying with me. Hey, I need you guys to do a favor, especially on YouTube. If you've been following us, please subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. We just need to have our numbers so we can have our stats, because we can roll out surveys. We want to create the Black Success Index, the Black Male Success Index. We want to create that. And so we want to create that for us and for all of us to be able to thrive in. So that's an important thing. And I want to go through everything. But, man, other than that, man, look, guys, I'm really excited about everything and everything that we're doing. 1 Million Black Men. I got to really appreciate, I just want to stop and appreciate everybody, man. Like the love, the support, the coming out. I mean, guys, we're like, believe it or not, this is funny. Guys, I'm not an influencer. I want you to be very clear. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a guy who basically put something out there and say, hey, I want to do something for Black men. And somehow it caught on, right? And like, I don't have thousands of followers. And I'm shocked. I mean, I'm being told by friends and people, they're like, yo, you getting hundreds of people to view you live. Like, it just don't happen unless you got, you know, thousands and thousands of followers, like 100,000. And what I told somebody, I said, you know what I think? I think the thing is that a lot of people, they got a lot of followers, but they don't have nothing really to say. It's just sound bites. You know what I'm saying? They got sound bites, but they don't really have anything to say substantive. So, you know, that's all I can attribute it to. But, man, I appreciate everybody, those who come in Thursday and Monday to view, to tap in, to see what we talking about, what we doing. Man, I'm trying to get better at this thing, y'all. We're trying to make sure we on time, make sure that we clocked in right. I'm just trying to get better at it. And so any feedback is needed, man. Anything you got to say, we're listening. We're trying to figure this thing out. But, man, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to seeing the Black millionaires who come out of this. And look, it won't all be this year, but it'll be in the next year, 2, 3 years. But just Black millionaires, people who became conscious about the opportunity, about Black opportunity, and then they tell the story, right? And they go out there and they knock things out, right? Or they start to put the pieces together. Like, okay, here's the piece. Because I believe that if we create a success mindset that is for us and by us, this is why I could not talk about Black opportunity without talking about the Black tax. And then talk about Black identity. How can I talk about opportunity and not go into the fact that, hey, there is a Black tax. Let's not get it twisted. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. It's a little bit different for us at times. And also understanding our identity, who we actually are as people, right? You got some great brothers out there. Brother 19 Keys out there. He's really getting into identity and all that kind of stuff. And you know, you got some, but I think we're in the phase of a Black kind of what I call Renaissance period, the 20s and the 30s, like 100-year cycle starting over again, where we're taking back our own media. We're taking back our media. We're taking back our music. We're taking back our propaganda, our areas, and we're getting empowered from us, by us. We're not allowing other people to tell us who we are. We get to tell our stories again and about what we can do and what we can create. So with that, guys, look, I'm super excited. Team, if you could cue up the testimonial video and then cue up our poem at the end. But, man, this is awesome. God, I'm so happy. Let me just say this to everyone's here before I let you guys go. I guarantee you, if you focus on one of these 6 areas, right? One of these 6 areas, okay? I want to say this to you, whether you choose to work with me or not work with me or work with whoever you want to work with, right? Again, this is not my full-time gig, right? I make my paper in a lot of different ways, okay? But whether you choose to impart or not impart, whatever your choice is, guys, won't you hear me out? I will guarantee you, if you choose to focus on land, if you choose to focus on any of these areas in 5 years, you will make an M. Like, you will make probably millions, if you focus on one of these areas over the next 5 years, because of the opportunity that exists. The opportunities are too great in these areas. Okay, right? Labor is the cheapest on the continent of Africa right now, right? If you want to make something and you got something, I mean, dude, like even you count the shipping, everything, it's pennies compared, right, to what you can do. And so I just want you guys to know that these opportunities are real. It's there for us. It's there for the taking, and it's our time. It's our time to participate in the game, right? This is nothing new. It's already been going on. We just have to participate in it. So, guys, with that, go ahead. Let's cue the video. Go through, and then actually tonight, what I wanted to do, I know I got my team got to go, but what I wanted to do tonight, after we cue these videos, I actually wanted to come back and I wanted to do like a little special post session, about 10 to 15 minutes, for folks who want to stay around, ask some questions. But let's put up the video. Let's let people scan if they want to scan or whatever the case is. But I will be here to do some a little bit of post Q&A, a little surprise tonight for those who showed up. But it's going to be all post Q&A, just going back and forth with everybody about different ideas and things like that. But we are going to do that. So let's go ahead and knock that out. All right.
I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave, because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network, and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally, from a professional perspective or a personal perspective, can be. And I'm ever so grateful.
All right, so for those that want to connect, just scan the barcode. Let's connect. But real quick, I want you guys to put some quick questions in the chat. And again, this is just for us. I'm going to do like 10 to 15 minutes real quick on some stuff. And just, this is just a kind of a free bonus, giving my time real quick tonight. But I did want to do this for us and just kind of go through it. So let's go. What questions do you have? What thoughts do you have? As you heard about these 6 areas of opportunity, I'm curious what questions you have, and we're going to pull some stuff from the chat real quickly. Again, 10, 15 minutes. We're going to go through that. I know it's been a while, but man, you guys be staying. Like, I'm impressed. I know there's games that on, NBA games on. Y'all probably listening to me, got the game on the other screen, checking out. But man, I really appreciate the love. So wanted to give an opportunity for us to kind of go through some real Q&A on some stuff. I got a wealth of information, but wanted to allow us to do that. So what's the best way to start in any of these industries if you're new to the game? So here it is. If you're new to the game, the best way to start really is to start. What I will say to you is that I was telling guys who were in the mastermind earlier about the 3 areas in which Tulane University studied and how people are successful. And one is trial and error. Number 2 is through franchise. Number 3 was through mentorship. And so what I'm going to say to you is that if you want to start in this game, obviously you want to get, mentorship if you can, right? If you want to work with us with that, you can. But some of it is trial and error, right? If you really want to get out there. But I'm going to say the easiest, probably the lowest cost one to get into is probably going to be something around like outsourced business process outsourcing, because you're basically getting paid to do something, and then you're outsourcing it to someone else on the continent per se. Uh, Maybe tourism is an easier one to get into per se. But yeah, if you're looking at that, man, if you want to start, if you're a new entrepreneur, look, when you want to do work on plumbing, you got to go to school, be a plumber. If you want to, be an architect, you got to go to school to be an architect. If you want to get good at something, you got to go to school to do it. And so for some reason, entrepreneurship, people think they don't need to go to school, or they think they don't need to like learn. And so entrepreneurship, man, is a learning game. Like, you're gonna spend the money somehow, whether or not you spend it losing, or you spend it, on paying somebody else to teach you how to avoid mistakes. But that it's that's a big one. So I just want to put that on you guys, so that's it's a real thing. So yeah, what's the next question? What question we got? Is there a particular part of Africa we should focus on for some of these areas? Now, okay, great question. Great question. I'm going to say to you that, look, an easier entry point for a lot of people is going to be West Africa, just because it's closer, right? But I am going to tell you Central and East Africa have a lot of opportunity. And they're very welcoming to Americans, because they don't see Americans as much as maybe Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal does, right? They don't see it as much. Liberia, which is that West African corridor. It's just, that West Africa is closer to America than East Africa. It's just what it is. But there's no particular place, depending on what you want to do. If you tell me you want to do manufacturing, I am going to tell you that, hey, let's visit Ghana, and let's visit Senegal. I'm going to tell you visit Uganda as well, right? If you're going to do tourism, for sure, it's East Africa, like Central East Africa. Look, all due respect, West Africa got the slave ports, they got some dancers and some culture, but man, East Africa, bro, got giraffe, the lions, the gorillas, the rhinos. Like, you can't really compete with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like full safari, So depending on what area you want to get into and what you want to do. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say to you on that front. Thanks for the question. Which of one of these industries has the most 6- and 7-figure earners? Well, I'm going to tell you right away, 150%. The richest areas are going to be, for sure, manufacturing, import, export, and definitely natural resources. Those are more harder, obviously, to get into, but I want to tell you, manufacturing, export, import, and natural resources are 6, 7 ain't even enough. I mean, you're talking about 8, 9-figure earners in that space. Just because you can scale faster, right? You have the resources, import, export is product. You just can scale faster. It's less labor intensive in a way, but you can scale faster. So thank you for that question about that. What's the most efficient way to learn about import, export opportunities from Africa? Well, the first thing that is essentially is to go there. I'm going to say there. It's funny. I don't recommend a lot of books. There is a book that is called, it was written by a South African guy, but it's pretty decent. It's called How We Made It in Africa. That's a good book. It's called How We Made It in Africa, but it's from people who are African, and a lot of them are doing exports. Tea, I didn't talk about tea is another one, right? Another big export. Coffee, stuff like that. Cocoa, chocolate cocoa, and things like that. All the agriculture stuff is a big opportunity, right? Agro processing, I should say, is a real big opportunity. Agro processing with internally as well as in exporting. So How We Made It in Africa is a good book. If you want to check that out, How We Made It in Africa is a great book to read and to go through. Talks a lot of good stories of Africans and some African Americans who have made it big time in Africa. All right. What part of the country is big in hospitality? From what I can tell, or the continent, I should say, what part of the continent, right? It seems like Kenya and South Africa really have the corner on the market. Morocco too, so Morocco as well. So I would say hospitality, Morocco, Kenya, and South Africa. They seem to have kind of like the corner on the market as far as the tourism travel space. Uganda's very good too. Uganda's excellent as well in hospitality. Rwanda is good as well. They're great experts in what we call luxury tourism. They've built a strong area of luxury tourism, Rwanda. But I would say Uganda's probably the best in ecotourism, right? Ecotourism, probably Uganda. Kenya is probably amazing in experiential tourism. And then South Africa is just kind of good overall. And then Morocco is like I can't explain. Morocco's, they consider Morocco's North Africa, right? With the Sand Brothers. Morocco's like, it's very luxurious, it's just very rich feeling, right? Casablanca and that area. Morocco is just very rich. It's very rich feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's like super rich, so that's why I would go there. All right, masterminds. Are there a person masterminds that you put on? Yes. So if you're interested in those, please scan if you want to join some of our masterminds. Look, I told somebody, earlier we were talking about the thing. A mastermind has really a purpose. Here's the purpose of a mastermind, guys. Okay, right? A mastermind's purpose at the end of the day is to match your activity with accountability. Okay? That's the purpose of a mastermind, is to master your activity with accountability and to get people right thinking. Now, you have someone like me or whoever else, right, to get insight. So they're giving you insight in order to help you plan and operate. But any mastermind that is just a bunch of talk and doesn't get you to an action, an accountable action, is not really a mastermind, right? It's just, some philosophy, right? It's philosophy essentially. But yeah, the point of the mastermind is to get you on a track, on a road where it's activity, okay? It's activity along with the accountability. That's the point of the mastermind. So yeah, if you scan the bar, if our team put up the bar or text the number, they can help you with that and give you the insight. All right. I got about 5 more minutes, guys. There aren't any more questions, I don't think. So if there's no more questions, hey everybody, I appreciate this. We're going to close out with our good old poem, spoken word, calling all black men. But man, thank you guys for being here tonight. We had a long session. We wanted to do that on purpose tonight. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on Thursday as we get into some new stuff. But also we went into this whole black tax, black identity, black opportunity on Thursday. Give you guys a little insight. We're going to really get into money, finance, investment, and really how the game of money works. But particularly from a finance perspective, leveraging perspective. We'll talk about money because a lot of people need to know something about money. So please scan if you're interested or text the number if you want to connect. We'll follow up with you, send you some stuff. Man, guys, Chris, James, Chucky, Craig, Elon, that Elon Musk in the building. All right, Kevin, Dexter, man, Keith, everybody here, man, is showing love. Yo, love y'all. It's all good, man. Calling all black men. Let's go to the top, fellas. The bottom is just way too crowded. Man, play the joint. Play the joint for them, people. Put it on. Put on the 1s and 2s, right? Let's go. Let's go.
Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call. Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call for 1 million black men. I am Kwesi to put you on a call path to win. This is not a Zoom call or a call on Facebook Live. Though we are virtual, we are live. Now they call on TikTok like MLB black men, we are on the clock. Not a call from Snapchat. Move back, my bat. We are on first base to Isaac Hayes Jr. fan base. We have an eye on third base. Grand Slam, not a call from Instagram, as we don't need validation with blue checks. We are the true checks. We do checks. We write checks. We are the right checks. We do family checks. We check in on our sons and our daughters. We are black men who walks on waters because our children like to FaceTime. We are black men who FaceTime. Let's FaceTime. This is still not a call from an Android or an iPhone. It is extraterrestrial to phone home. I know sometimes black men, we have to travel around the world to be appreciated at home. But you are not alone. You are in the each one, teach one green zone, where the elusive weapon is the truth. We are the black truth. We are Paul Pierce, the truth. We are the loot. We are 1 million black men strong. We will get along as we landline. We walk across their blue and red line. Now this call is from a landline with rotary numbers and a coiled cord. We are 1 million black men on one accord. This cord and phone transmits a dial tone, whether a local call or a call of long distance. Regardless of the distance, it connected us. Social media unconnected us. Our homes need us. They soul feed us. And not just food that give us niggas-itis. I write this, our homes bleed, sweat, tears for us. Black men, it is up to us. It is on us, not to just procure the bag. Buddha bless one, share it with me. Get the info under your afro, bro. In establishing sovereignty to be a one united bank for economic just us. Black men, we must set up a family trust to an estate, because right now everything is at stake. Because we can't lead from behind, from your behind to your mind. They are public with their relevance as they use artificial intelligence in this age of information. Elon Musk bought Twitter to gather more of our information. So if I have to be the Starlink, I will break the Starlink for 1 million black men. But I won't condone our culture with misuse of our information. So I grant you David Anderson for this financial literacy education. DA went from shy Southside streets to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. From Chicago State to Harvard. At 19, he fathered the economics in his family house. DA served in President Obama administration at the White House. He lived in China for 3.5 years, learning the Chinese economy, the renminbi. To the British pound, black men, let's get this pound. To the European euro, we NBA step into the euro. To the Uganda chilling, black men, let's be empowered by our billing and be willing to learn and understand. Money is just a tool to build unshakable wealth. 7 generations deep that DA will teach that we can compete in an economy beyond that's local. Black men, we must think global. So I present to you David Anderson to put you on this financial literacy path to win. Welcome to the movement. 1 million black men.